Hello, my name is Shelly Parker. I am with Microsoft now for about 10 years. I am a cloud solutions architect, better known as a CSA. I'm involved in our data and our AI group for our federal clients. I'm going to be showing you today the Intelligent Kiosk. This is a piece of software that you can get for free. You can download the code off of GitHub, compile it on Visual Studio. It's a C# UWP app for anybody that's that technical and needs to know all that. You can compile it yourself, and you can also install it. You can get it off the store and then just install it. There are 30 plus different applications on here that you can see that will help you get more insight into our cognitive services. Our cognitive services are like our face API, our translator, our transliterator, speech to text, text to speech. There's just custom vision explorer. The one I'm going to show you today is the real-time video insight. Some of my clients that I have as my professional day-to-day are having a lot of issues where they're accumulating an enormous amount of video data, and they want to see things on it. They want to know what's on it. They want to understand. But a lot of times this data just winds up sitting, and a person has to sit there and stare at it and watch it to figure out what exactly is in this. The cool thing about this particular one, is this will give you a visual display. It can almost give you a pattern of life of what's going on. I'm going to run a couple of clips from the Game of Thrones through it. One of the reasons why I like the Game of Thrones is because this clip is something that they did after the show was over, and it gives you instances of the people with and without their makeup, and you'll see that it's recognizing them. This is a fairly simple thing to set up. You'll have to go in and, if you have an Azure account, you'd need to go in and get your keys for your cognitive services and set it up here. And just put your keys in here and your endpoints and go on about your way. And now I'm just going to load up the video. Sorry about my voice. I have a cold, or just recovering from a cold. All right. I'm going to turn the video off right away, the audio, because these people like to cuss a lot. They really do. Okay, so I'm just going to let that run through. And as you're noticing, it's locating her face, and as the video flies through, every new face that it recognizes, it's coming through. And if you notice, it's naming her as I can't pronounce her first name, Williams, and it's giving you an age on her. And what you're seeing down here corresponds up here to her emotions. Was she happy, surprised, or whatever they find in the video? So this will play throughout this, and as it goes along, if anybody's familiar with, like, what was the guy? Not the Mountain, his brother. What was his name? Who? I forget. But you know how he had that big burn on his face? This actually will see a video of him as a regular person with a hat and a beard, but when it comes through and you see his face, when he's fully in makeup, it recognizes him too. And of course, we know her and stuff. So the nice thing about this is I've actually altered some of this code for a client and did some really cool things where I was able to before I even started the video, I would pull in a set of pictures of like faces I was looking for. And when the video started going through, then as it was finding those people those particular people, it would just kind of like change this. And I also changed this, instead of just their emotions, I changed this to the confidence level, because on the back end of this, you're getting something called a JSON file for every one of these frames that it's processing, and it's going through and it'll say, okay, it's this person, and it gives you everything. And there's so many attributes that can go with and these are REST API calls that can give you things like, do they have glasses on? Are they bald? Do they have freckles? Things like that. There's a lot of detail that you can get with our cognitive services. I'm going to run through the next one. This is almost, here it is. The Hound. That's it. I remembered. Yeah. And let's see if this is, come on. Did it already find him? Latency sometimes, because and also the other thing I wanted to remind, I wanted to bring in my other version, but I wasn't really sure I wanted to do that. But This actually runs on a container that has our cognitive services in a container. I could be semi-disconnected from the web. It still needs to phone home to call out and just sort of like ship out your billing. But the performance is so much better on that time when you're running it against the with the container. Because right now this is making calls and it's connected to the internet, so it's got to make that call out to the internet every time a frame goes by with a face on it. This is almost over. And the containers, you get a really improved performance with it because it's right there. And that goes back to that notion of what we're here today talking about IoT and on the edge. Because when you could think about it, if I had a Raspberry Pi with a camera on it and a little container, because a container is so small, it fits on a thumb drive. And you take that container, you put that on a Raspberry Pi with a camera, you stick that somewhere, and you're doing facial recognition right there on the spot. Of course, you got to wire it up to the internet. And I'll run the next video through. Then over here on the left, what you're seeing, and this is, I purposely changed the code so that it would keep this. There's something going on with my late, oh yeah, it changed up. So over here you're seeing is giving you demographics on people and telling you what's been analyzed and whether each person, what their age range is, and it's just kind of keeping all the statistics for you. And I tested this one time on some video, and we literally let it run overnight, and it was really quite interesting to see this array on an area where, on this particular video, where people were just kind of coming and going. It was like a traffic area, and people were just coming and going. Oh, this is what I was talking about, where you'll see here he is when he's just, a regular person. And then I think the next part might switch over to come back to him as when he's in full costume. But we saw a pattern of life in that one, and we let it run for 13 hours. And it was really an interesting array to just sit there and listen, look at all the different faces, and have the array of as people were coming in and out and stuff. It was quite interesting. We also have the ability, and I'm not going to mess with this now, but you see where it says people and emotion? You have the ability to do object recognition here. And the other nice thing about this, too, is right now, this is bouncing off the web's model, and that's why we've got out there in the web on our commercial Azure, we have a model of celebrities. There's one of the, I can even show that to you if I still have time afterwards, but there's a celebrity-like model out there, so pretty much any celebrity you can name. It's like, I didn't know his original name was John Bradley, but they get every single solitary, but of course this guy's not a celebrity, so they just say male 21. But the nice thing about it is you can build out your own models. It's like, suppose you were the security for a building, and you said, hey, I want to start seeing who's coming in, and start doing a little facial recognition and make sure our employees are coming in. So you get all the pictures for your badges and stuff, and you build out a model of that, and then you start just recognizing your people as they come in. And if you could, the guy that's sitting at the security thing could just have suddenly a red box come up saying, this is not an employee. Simple, so it's very easy to manipulate and get that to be done. But if I keep thinking that's one of our Surface hubs, and I want to go over and touch it. But if you go over with this, and I can touch it right here. It's not going to do it for me. It's going to keep running. But the nice thing about this particular app is that you can really do a lot of testing, and you can also run YouTube videos through there. And of course, if this is your code and you decide to go in and alter this code, you can make it to do whatever you want. Let's see, how's my time? I've got about 6 more minutes. That was fast. All right, cool. Then I will go and show some more stuff. I talk too fast. That's okay. Speech to text explorer. Anybody speak another language? Your first one, what do you speak?
I speak 7.
7? Okay. Spanish? No. Okay, well, all right, pick one. Huh? Arabic?
I say
Poquito, a little bit.
A little bit of Spanish, okay. Any of these look familiar? You speak any of those?
I can see it because the light is
Oh, that is really okay. It's Arabic, Chinese, French, German, Italian, Japanese, Portuguese, Russian, or Spanish.
Do you have Farsi?
No,
Do you have Kurdish?
no, but I have Arabic. No, that's not going to do it.
Is there a problem?
Okay, anybody else can hit any of those? Spanish. I'll take Spanish. Yeah. You're gonna have to come and talk in my mic. Or actually, you can talk in here, yeah. This is our speech to text. This is a really wonderful thing for in the event. I like this to think about this for the accessibility, availability for people who might have, with a language, and then somebody else doesn't speak the language, but you get the point. All right, I'm going to do this. Go ahead, just start. Let me change it to Spanish. And look, it's even telling me. I'm going to stop it first. Let me take Spanish. There we go.
Mucho gusto. Vamos a ver si esta herramienta puede reconocer cuando hablo rápido. Muy bien.
Is that pretty accurate?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. Well, keep going.
Ok, un poco de mí. Tengo 24 años, soy de Ecuador originalmente. Vivo en Estados Unidos hace 6 años.
Okay, now I'm going to stop it. I don't know what you just said, but we're going to find out.
I was speaking really quick.
I hope it wasn't anything bad.
Yeah, and just this. I was speaking kind of English, so the middle section doesn't really count.
Okay, let's try this now. It doesn't let me clear it. Try that.
Okay. Un poco de mí. Soy de Ecuador. Tengo 24 años. Vivo en Estados Unidos hace 6 años. Me gradué de la universidad hace 2.
I washed base to college? Okay. And then it heard me say Facebook? Okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
No sé qué más decir.
Well, obviously this is very elementary and stuff, but the really nice thing about this is I've actually had a situation where I had a friend across the street from me. His parents were home visiting, but he wasn't home. They spoke French. He told them to come across the street to me. You can go sit. I'm sorry. He told them to go across the street, and if there was a problem, and to come tell me. And so they come running across the street with their just hands waving and speaking French. And I was like, I don't know what you're saying, but I had that translator on my phone, and I busted out, and the smoke alarm had turned on. And it was beeping, and they were like paranoid. And I was like, oh, I know what's going on. So I just spoke. I said, oh, I'll come and tell you how to switch it out or how to turn it off. And it spoke it back in French to them. And I was like, I didn't know I sounded so good in French. But yeah, this is a really good one to come in and give it a try if you're really kind of into our cognitive services. And looking at the code gives you a sense of how you've got to structure everything for this to run. And once again, you get this on those containers, and you get a performance that is scary and wonderful. And I think I'm just about done. Katrina? I'm all done.
I have a question.
Sure.
This is really impressive. In Sonoma developer community, Microsoft has run this translate.
Oh.
Yeah. And I come from Apple's site.
And you could
Question. This is similar to Skype's application.
To the Skype
API?
application?
Yeah.
Actually,
The translation.
To Teams.
I think it's some of the same things pushed in. It was the REST APIs, but a different. It's since we dropped Skype, it's still out there. Sorry, it's my cold. And now we're in Teams, and the translation, you can see where there is a very big
Yeah, it's
similarity,
very
and you can see that things functions like a very similar. Any more questions? Yes.
Hi, good day. My name is Brian Parker. I'm with International Healthcare Access Group, and I'll expand as much as you need to answer the question. but I'd be concerned about HIPAA violations.
Once again, I mean, for HIPAA, I mean, because I know about HIPAA. I used to be an emergency room nurse. I get the HIPAA violation, but that's about where you choose to use this. You know, if you're a security person and if you're a company and you decide I'm going to use this as a security person so you can make sure that only employees come in, you know, that's not a hospital environment, then you wouldn't worry about it. I wouldn't use this necessarily in a hospital unless you can lock down your data and make sure nobody's getting to it.
Well, it seems to be fairly open access. It seems it's not charged to start, so it seems to be waiting for something to happen if it hasn't already happened. Sorry.
Well, I mean, to a point, no, I get what you're saying, because we do get a lot of questions about, you know, the facial recognition and things like that. But the fact, it's about how you choose to use it. And the thing is about this, we're not keeping any of this data. When you, if like in that video that's coming through, there is no server out in Microsoft right now with Game of Thrones frames on it right now. It does not exist. That frame is taken, evaluated, you are sent it back to JSON file. Once you get that JSON file, that's up to you. If you keep that frame, that's up to you. So it's according to how you develop the software for this. Any other questions? Okay, go ahead. You're going to have to be a laugh because I'm a little bit over, but I'm going to do something fun.
Actually, I saw your demo in Build conference late in June, and I think it was Qualcomm gave a wonderful demo on their hardware for the same thing. And then I tried to use it for an application related to reading the vehicle plate number. It's a very
the OCR type.
right,
Okay.
OCR on this.
So you were OCRing vehicle tag numbers.
That's correct.
Right.
But, I was told from your team that, I don't know which team it is, that you're not exactly ready for that. So can you tell me when that will be ready?
Actually, the OCR for recognition of driver's license is actually pretty decent. I mean,
it's not a driver license. It's like, we have a load cell. So if some vehicles, a truck, overloaded truck pass through, we get a sensing signal that, the truck is overloaded, and we want to identify them because they are violated, right? So
right.
It's a very simple application. We have a synchronized sensor that triggers the alarm, and immediately with the timestamp, we want to capture that nameplate. So it's like you're reading the vehicle plate on the OCR.
Right. So is the problem the software or is it the camera?
No. So I saw the demo in your Build conference. I saw that that you have really powerful intelligent edge, and it was really nice because we have to have the edge application because it has to synchronize. And demo was given by Qualcomm actually. So I think Qualcomm has a special chip to accommodate your intelligent edge as well, and it's very fast.
Right.
But I then inquired to Microsoft how ready it is actually for the application, and I was told that it will take a couple of more months to do this kind of OCR. So I'm asking that, do you know what is the readiness now?
Honestly, because I'm not part of the engineering team, I can't give you dates on that for that. I mean, did they give you any sort of dates when they?
No, not really.
They just said in a couple of months or
just
something?
check up in a couple of months.
Just keep trying it, I guess. That's the only thing. Notice they noticed that as a St. Bernard. It's probably not, but. Oh, one more question. Go for it.
Would you elaborate on time stamping? Because you brought it up as well. And that's my specialty, time stamping.
You're saying, is that an option?
Yeah.
Because this entire app is an app and it's a code, and if you have a frame and you want to timestamp it, because it's just code. How would you go about doing that? Well, like in the case of this was that Game of Thrones thing, and what we're doing, it was running about, 30 frames per second. We were grabbing about 12 to 15 frames out of the second instead of the entire 30. So in the code, if I was so inclined and I said, hey, get me the time now and wanted to stamp it on there, it's possible. Yeah. Yeah. Right. I could just, yeah. Right. So yeah, that's possible. It's just code. Okay. All right, I'm going to get out of here so you guys can do your thing.